All right, guys. Guys, we're gonna start the seminar. Okay, winter grading. I've done like many seminars myself, of course, like when the belt promotions was going on, and really and truly, like most people are here just to make their way through the first hour and then get to the second one to see what goes on, right? So we're not gonna go like too crazy in depth in some form of jiu-jitsu technique, some like crazy long-winded passing techniques or takedowns, right? Like look how busy the mat is. It's going to be like almost impossible. So we're going to work like back attacks with our partners. It's kind of static enough that we can train. Hopefully we can train on the same mat. If it gets obviously too crazy, we have the second mat upstairs. We can split off kind of like teens and adults. But it's an incredible night. Like we just counted, right? There's 126 people on the mat, which is incredible. And it's a lot of hard work and effort that potentially you guys don't see. It's not my job to make out how hard this job is, right? But I'm sure you can appreciate the efforts from the coaches, the coaching staff, some of the guys that help out here and dedicate their time like as volunteers. Some people that go above and beyond for the team as well, like parents, members that are trying to drive us in like a great direction and always help us grow and evolve. So it's going to be a fantastic night. We have 32 or 33 belt promotions to get through as well. There's a brilliant opportunity as well, okay, where we have two incredible teams coached by great coaches that have came together right now. And in next year is going to be three. Go and grab somebody you don't know, try and hang out with somebody you've never met before, talk, share experiences, share ideas. That's what we're here to do. And like I say, we're going to start the seminar, we're going to work on a few back techniques, and then from there we'll get to the promotions and the fun stuff. All right.
Obviously, there's a lot of prep. There's a lot of decision making. That can be difficult at times because naturally you get to know people. You can make emotional decisions sometimes. So you really have to take yourself out of that mindset. And I like to be very pragmatic with how I look at the promotions. If somebody's ready, if somebody's at that level, technically, how that's going to affect their training moving forward, right? Even motivational wise.
Like I said, every belt promotion is so special, of course, right? Even from grey and white all the way through to black belt that we have this evening. But of course, the longer you train, the more experiences we have, the more shared experiences we have, the more words I can kind of give, right? So guys, I don't like to give anybody any prior indication or knowledge of belts. I don't.
But sitting down and I don't discuss these promotions with the team necessarily. Some of them I do that have better relationships with the students than me. And even my own family, right? Like I was at home last night after dinner and they're asking me who's getting what belt, and even my own partner doesn't know, and I like to keep it that way so there's a surprise element, but also it doesn't cloud my judgment in any way. Because if I tell somebody, oh, this guy's getting that belt, and they pull a certain face, or they, oh, you should, it's gonna not put me off, but it can make me question my own decision as well.
We have an incredible team here. We do. We try our best to learn from our mistakes. I was talking about this yesterday, and in the process, it's weird. I'm gonna be really open and honest with you guys right now. Sometimes things go on, happens, right? We're a gym, complaints, this, that, whatever. All right.
Obviously, I'm incredibly proud of them. They work so hard, and it's an amazing thing to see. I have no doubt they would have done it without me, right? They would have found jiu-jitsu at some point, and they would have trained and got to these levels that they're at. But to have to play a part in it and to have facilitated that and watch it come back is incredible. We did a day class here yesterday, and to see that amount of brown belts in the room, to see black belts that are going to be promoted, to see the progression of those guys is huge. And like you say, they're coaches, so I am significantly harder on them, and the level that they need to achieve to attain those belts is kind of unfair in a way, because I try to judge them off myself, where I was at that belt and how I was performing, and are they close to that, or are they, and at some stages they're doing better than that as well, right? So it's I'm very hard on them, and for them to be in those positions is a huge credit to them.
We invest so much in our team. We try our best to improve all the time. And listen, jiu-jitsu wise and facility wise, we do a great job. And we wanted to invest in people. And I truly believe I have the best team in the world right now. Recently, I've gave them a lot more responsibility and I give them a good push.
Her technical level has improved massively, for sure. You know, like I've trained her a few times and, you know, just playing around and things like that. And, you know, she definitely has improved a lot. She trains a lot. And then really like her dedication towards like coaching and being a part of the team has been huge. Like you say, she works a full-time job and, you know, every hour outside of that she's here, and even sometimes she's here working on that job behind the desk, like remotely before she goes into class. And I've seen a huge development in her as a coach, right? In her methods, and you know, even some of the methods that the rest of the team now like try to implement. She has like regular group trainings and one-to-ones with some of like the younger kids, and some of the ones that are maybe like losing their way a little bit. She's very good at like reintroducing them and getting the passion back, or you know, settling some nerves or whatever it may be. So we know she's extremely passionate around like safeguarding and well-being and looking after the kids.
And they want to expect the belt, right? Because they believe they're going to compete Euros at blue. But Serena, you're not. Let's go, purple belt.
The dedication that I see is like so high that, you know, for sure technical ability she's there for like where she's meant to be at, right? And you know, a dedication to the team. They're getting here early, they're staying late, they're working a full-time job in between is huge. And
all right, I have to say a similar thing now as well, because you guys, there's no secret in our team. We're all so close. Sometimes we're like too close, right? We argue, fall out. You know, don't like each other, right? Sometimes say nasty things. But it's my job as
an employee, as a worker, right? Like, she is worth her weight in gold, right? Like, she just gets things done, and you know, she doesn't need any prior knowledge or prior idea, or you know, if something needs to get done, she gets it done, right? And
it's my job as a coach, right? I'm not an instructor, I'm a coach, and it's my job to keep people on track. Sometimes I have to be horrible, right? And I am. And some of you look at me and think like he enjoys that. I don't, right? I really don't. I have so much respect for this person. I care so much for them and their career. And it's very personal because like I can't get away from them every day. And listen, incredible level of jiu-jitsu, we know, right? We're aware.
The level that she is at is ridiculously high, and I know sometimes she may not feel like it because she's training with me primarily every day and training with the guys, so she can feel like, you know, maybe everyone's a little bit better than her right now. But when it comes to competition results, when it comes to game day, her mindset and you know, like who she is an incredible human being and a very special human being. Like I'm very honest, like the raw talent and potential she has is like so high.
And maybe has fallen short sometimes, okay, some. But for the most time has like achieved everything that we can hope, we can wish. And I promise you I'm not giving this belt because she's catching my major titles. I'm not.
And if I'm gonna be like really, really honest about the promotion, I've seen a kind of shift in her mentality lately, which has been more towards career goals in terms of coaching and helping and growing as the team. So
I'm giving this belt because, you know, she has a dream, we have a dream as a coach and a student relationship to be black belt world champion at 30. We're still on track, we're still on course, and I believe every day, right? Brown belt, Lucy, let's go.
Yeah, she's an incredible asset to the team, obviously, in my own personal life and in my own day-to-day life. Like, you know, I speak to her every day, so she's hugely important to me and the team. So I'll be very, very excited to promote her. Of course, she's going to have no clue. I think she still believes that she wants to try and achieve a world title at purple, which we could have given her another year. But I don't like holding people back. I want them to, you know, our goals and what we do is defined by what we achieve at black belt, really. And I wanted to get there in good time to give her the best chance of achieving that result.
You heard me speak for so many weeks now about our first ever black belt from white to black. I was in America with Hannah. We was on Instagram, like looking through. We did a video not that long ago, me and Luke. We promote a video about the guy, just to introduce them to the social media world and the rest of the team. And I sat down this morning, I did some emotional interviews this morning, right, for the YouTube video that's gonna go out. We spoke about this guy.
You train a significant period of your life, right? Is dedicated, 7.5 years, maybe slightly more to the team. He's been with me since the first sessions I taught in the community centre where, who would have ever imagined we would be where we are, teaching 2-3 times a week in a community centre. So he's always had this like really good loyalty to myself and the team, and he's been along for the whole journey. He's seen the whole process. He's seen the vision that we've had and what we've created.
I thought about what it meant to give my first black belt. I really did. I thought, like, what does it take? What should they be like? What level should they have? And there's a lot of things that go through my mind, right? But really and truly, it's not necessarily like who you are and what level you achieve. It's how you make other people feel and how other people feel after meeting you, right? And he has like a slight aura to him. Every time he comes in, everyone gives a little like cheeky smile. It just makes you happy, right? It really does. And again, it's so deep to me when people like this guy, when I met him, community center, right? Gave him his first stripe like 7 years ago, I think to the day.
He started with me with no family, no kids, right? Since then he's had 2 kids. Those 2 kids are in our kids programs and training, and they're grey and white belts respectively. So to have that trust in myself and have that trust in the team is such an honor. And I think sometimes you can look past it because it's just a kid in a kids class, but the guy had no kids when I met him, and to have his kids and then eventually bring them to us, and now they're training. See him every day on the school run when I'm getting my little boy from school. And I really sat down and I thought to myself, if there's anyone that I would want to be our first black belt or my first black belt from white to black, embodies everything that I've tried to achieve, and the loyalty aspect. He's just a guy that gets on with it. He's just a guy that gets it done. He comes and trains 2-3 times a week, 4 if he can. He's on shifts. He's here when he can be. He's not when he can't be. He's here with the kids when he can be, not be. It's just such a part of his life and so ingrained in him.
And I'm so glad to share this experience. I'm so glad to share this first black belt promotion of mine from white to black, and that's a long time. But firstly, before I bring him up here to give his belt, you have to have a very understanding family, right? I've told you guys before, it's very difficult to make it to the end. Not that this is the end, but it's very difficult if when you go home, you have somebody down your ear, or it's kind of pressing you a little bit, and it's difficult to get out to train, right? But I don't see that at all. I might be wrong. He might hide it really well. Blink twice. But he's an incredible guy. He's an incredible family. And they've got the same name, right? So Mr. Nick Stokes, take a seat for a sec. Let's bring up Mrs. Nick Stokes for some flowers. Big Nick, let's go, Professor!
Thanks for everyone here, especially Tom, who from the start, I really appreciate it, and my wife and kids, obviously. Like Tom said, always supportive, always. She said to me earlier, it's a good addiction to have. If you're going to do anything, at least it's that. And thanks to all the other coaches who always push me in every training partner. Sean Doonar, who took me to the community centre 7 years ago. And I just did it for a bit of fitness and to help me at work, and then just kept going, kept coming, kept training, and this is it.
Professor Nick, mate. This one will be tough to get through, I have no doubt. But again, incredible person, human being, right?
It's not that hard to sell why Danny should be a black belt and why he should be a professor, right? He's put his time in, he's put his effort in.
I sat down, I thought about a lot. I had a conversation a few nights ago with Andre. We discussed the belt promotion list, what I think, and I really didn't have to do much convincing, right? And normally when you don't really need to convince anyone too much, then it's normally right, okay?
It's really not that difficult when you sit down on paper, you look at it, you look at the impact, you look at, how much our team's grown and the responsibility he now has when he's teaching on his own at different academies, and they are almost his own academies now. Like when he goes to Solihull, like people probably see him way more than they see me, and that's essentially like his own school that he's running. And we do our part, of course, but the day-to-day coaching is him, and along with the other guys, of course. But he's probably seen as the head guy there, and when he has that belt and recognition, and he doesn't need any more credibility in my opinion, but the black belt always gives you some extra credibility.
I have been the only professor here for a long time. This evening we have 2. And like I said to you before, the project of Solihull and what we try to achieve is not me profiting. And I know that's hard to believe sometimes with the Instagram posts and the cars, right? I know, I get it, all right? I do. They're nice, right? But it was a way for me to test a man's steel, right? And to coach under me is hard, and to coach next to me is tough. To coach alone is even harder. And to run a successful program, how he has, is incredible, right?
I've seen a few posts of his, and I've seen a few things that he said, and I've heard him say a few things like, the trust that we have in him. He's always so grateful that we trusted him and brought him into the team how we did a few years ago. But at the same time, the trust that he has to have for me and the trust that he has for us is incredible too, because no one's ever done it before in that way. He left his job just after lockdown and took that huge risk, and realistically, it's just a small business. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Took a huge pay cut, I believe, to make this work, and we financially supported him as best we could, give as much opportunity as we could to make it happen. Of course, it's going to be an incredibly emotional evening, not even for me and him, for sure for us it will be, but I think for the whole team, when you see one of your own, that you started with, standing shoulder to shoulder in the line, and now they're on that side of the mat as a professor, and they've got to that level is mind blowing, right? Because everyone's seen me as the guy for so long, and I came here as a purple belt or a brown belt, and opened here as a black belt. I've always been the professor, so people haven't seen that growth and development, what it takes. But with him, they've been along with him, the whole ride. So I think it's going to be huge for the team.
And I speak about this a lot. Our job in life is to replace ourselves, right? That's what I truly believe. My job here on this planet, even though I'm younger and better looking, is to replace myself on this planet, right? And can they do what I can't, if I can't, when I can't, right? And hopefully, God's plan is that I can continue to train and teach for the rest of my life. But if I don't, and if I can't, and if I never could, the one person I would trust to teach here, the one person I would trust to teach my kids, the one person I trust the most, even though we fucked up, right? A few times we have, and we've had conversations, and by all means, guys, we don't always get on, but we've waited a long time, okay? We waited a long time for a professor to come at once, right? Like the old saying goes, but without a shadow of a doubt, right? Our head professor of our schools. And before I call him out here to get his award, I want to call his lovely partner, Chloe, to receive some flowers as well. Professor Danny, let's go.
I have no shame in getting upset. It's not even the belt. Right? The belt is just, as we said, it's a representation of how many hours you can spend on the mat, and you're putting effort into one thing. The bit that gets to me most is I deeply care about the team, the kids, and then people who don't train but support the academy. This is for me all I've ever wanted in my training, is to bring people in and just experience what I know I feel every time I'm on the mat, and every time I'm off the mat. And I just want everyone else to even just get 1% of that. And looking around the room and seeing that, like, that's what upsets me most, because it does tick a major box for me. And it is the main reason I train. And again, like, to share this evening with Nick, who was here the first time I came, and put his arm actually on my shoulder when one of the other guys decided to beat me up on my first class, and just said, come back, and I did. Like, that's super special. Of course, my family are very, very tolerant of me getting cauliflower ears, moaning that I'm aching, and I've got to get up at 4:30 for 6 a.m. class, which I only moan at home about, because once I walk through the door, again, seeing people turn up and train, some of the guys getting their belts this evening is fantastic. And that's all I can give as advice, is to everybody in the room, is whatever reason you're here, just keep turning up. Just keep turning up. You don't have to be the best skill-wise. You don't have to be the most athletic. You don't have to be a competitor. Whatever reason you walk through the door first, just please keep walking through the door. And when you do get to black belt, the changes and the improvements in all aspects of your life, I promise you will see them. So that's all I would ask of everyone in the room, just please keep showing up, and then for us to have a team of black belts, brown belts, purple belts, blues, as we build through. That's all I would ask for, and that would be what I would want as a legacy for the team, is that I can look around the room in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time and see you stood over here giving your words and thanks to your teammates. So that's the only thing I ask, please, and enjoy what we have. All right, so thank you all for having me.